Hello. Sorry I'm late. I'm so sorry I'm late for brunch. I wanted to put a little makeup on. Hopefully does my makeup look all right? Yes, it looks just fine. All right. Let us come together. My fellow gods and goddesses. My fellow sensitive people. What else would I call us? We are divas. Yes. Do you think of yourselves as divas? Supposedly, we are all divas. Yes, I like that idea. I like the idea of us all being divas. Yes. Yes, no, perhaps, maybe, little bit, little bit of a diva. All right. So, what do you think about the background? Do you like it, or would you like me to change it? I've got several here. Several here. Depends on who you want to have lunch with. This one's kind of fun. Yeah. I like this one the best. This is my favorite. Yeah. I think we'll go with that because that looks an awful lot like my real background. Yes. Well, how is everyone? Thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful stream. This is our weekly get together. This is our weekly brunch. Gosh darn, am I glad to see you all. My neck is red because I've been playing the violin and it sometimes scratches. I've been putting in a really good effort with the violin. And I was just watching a YouTube video of some second graders playing the violin. They were playing Suzuki Book 2, and it dawned on me just how terrible I am. It's very humbling when 7 and 8-year-olds are playing violin a lot better than you are. It's very humbling because in my mind, I'm like this great violinist, but of course, that is not the case. Hopefully the sound is okay. You all can hear me just fine. Let me know if we need to adjust the sound or anything. What else can I say to all of you at this time? Be sure and like and subscribe if you could. Our charity is the World Kitchen. We're raising money for people who are experiencing disaster due to the hurricanes. Hopefully you are all, those of you who are in Florida, I see a few of you, Goddess Val and Gail, are in Florida. Hopefully you'll remain safe. Hold on just a sec. I'm a little disorganized this morning, but not that disorganized. Our book of the month. Is that backwards? Magic. Our book of the month, if you'd like to join us, we will be having Judy and Jamerson in our virtual studios October 7th, 6 p.m. after Taco Tuesday. If you want to be a part of our book club, we're reading the book Belle. It is available at Eckhart Press. Eckhart Press, if you would like to get a copy of that. I'll go ahead and these are the announcements we need to make. We need to be up and ready to go with all of this good stuff. Anyway, if you'd like to join our Book of the Month Club, and I hope you will, it's going to be a very interesting conversation about compassion, empathy. Try not to judge each other because we don't know. If somebody is in a bad way, don't beat them when they're down. There's a lot of things I've been thinking about as I read Belle. Belle by Judy Ann Jamerson. Try to be compassionate to one another. How can we all expand our compassion? So that is the subject that we're going to be talking about. It's interesting that this is our October 7th book, because October 7th, of course, is the anniversary of the massacre that happened in Israel, where 1,200, over 1,200 people lost their lives, I believe, in a massacre by Hamas. And so, you know, while human beings are capable of great inhumanity, the choice is ours if we want to expand our own compassion. So it's kind of, I'm glad that it's going to be on October 7th, because I think that was, in my lifetime, the darkest day. The darkest days that I have witnessed in my life, next to, say, what's going on in the Sudan, um, the massacre of Syrians by Assad. I mean, there's a lot of horrible things, but in my own community, it was definitely October 7th. So we're going to be talking about how we can expand our compassion, and what the book Bell, what are the ethics, what are the values that Bell teaches us. All right. Again, we're starting a little bit of late where you're coming from as we extend this brunch table to the four corners of the earth. Tell us what you're eating. Tell us what you're drinking. I don't think we have Joel, the floor director, with us today. I think he's with the grandkids. This is what I'm having, and this is what I try to have almost every morning. Oh, I see I'm freezing. Let me just make sure that my system is okay. Oh, I am okay. Yeah, I'm connected. I just wanted to make sure I was connected to the good internet. So this is my protein and greens by the company Paradise. And I take it every morning because it has the mushrooms that are associated with decreased risk for certain types of cancer, pancreatic cancer. As I've mentioned, the healthiest and most nutrient-dense diet is one that contains greens, beans, onions, berries, mushrooms, and seeds, gaboms. Let me try that again. Greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, nuts, and seeds, gaboms. Have that be your mantra. So when you go to the supermarket, you always want to get greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, nuts, and seeds. So that's basically what I have here. I have greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, nuts, and seeds. And that's because it's a greens powder, protein and greens by the company Paradise, and you can get it on iHerbs. So I do 2 scoops of that. You can put in a little yogurt if you want some probiotics. I put in some almond and oat milk. Oat milk, of course, lowers your cholesterol. I put in some frozen berries. I think this was a blackberries and peaches frozen that I got. And then I put in some seeds, and my seeds were flax seeds for omegas. And I also put some walnuts in for my nuts. The greens powder also contains the mushrooms that are associated with decreased risk of certain types of cancers, like the agaricus, the maitake, the shiitake. And so okay, just checking that I had some messages. So it has what are called the medicinal mushrooms in it. It also has the sea vegetables, which are high in minerals like iodine. So I just like the protein and greens by Paradise because I think it's the most nutrient dense. that I have found on the market. And there's all these new things like cassava, and I'm not impressed by the ingredients in cassava. Oh, I'm not impressed by that either. What I'm impressed by is this product, which gets, I don't think they do any advertising. Um, but dang, they won't let me send that. But Protein and Greens. Protein and Greens by iHerbs, by Paradise. And for whatever reason, I cannot send you a link. So feedback about what is going on in the world. Let's see, will they let me do this one? Probably not. I don't think that they will let me link it, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. So there is iHerbs link if you guys want to find a really good protein powder. Yeah, so that's my recipe. And sometimes I also put some collagen powder in there as well. So that is what I call the Dr. Whimsy shake. I give it to my patients. All my patients get the recipe because I figure even if you don't have a perfect lifestyle, at the very least, you can start your day with something that's nutrient dense. It'll run you about 25, it'll give you 25 to 30 grams of protein a day. So if you need, say, 80 grams of protein a day, then it's, more than a third of your protein requirement. So that's pretty good. Most of us need about 80 grams, I would say, depending upon our height, weight, level of physical activity. Some people can get away with lower, like 45 to 60. I tend to do better on a higher protein. So I've talked about the fact that the best diet for the human body is probably mostly pescatarian, where the majority of your diet is plant-based, which is not the same as being a vegan. Very few people can adapt to a vegan diet, but if you're one of those people that can adapt to a vegan diet, I think that's great. Go for it. The less animal products, the better. But that is my breakfast. So let me go ahead and say hi to you, and thank you to everyone who is donating to hurricane relief. Looks like we've got 10 more days to raise money for the hurricane. Hi, Booker Merrick. Booker Mary. Yes, we'll take a look at Milton. I'm concerned about Milton. I guess it's hitting Florida. It's a Category 3 hurricane. We're very concerned about it. Stay safe. Hi, Pam. Thank you for your membership. You haven't had coffee? Oh, dear. Getting a private reading, you can book through Booksy, and that information is below the video, and I would love to meet you. All you do is just book. It's real simple, and then I call you at the appointed time. It's a real simple system. I don't use Tarot with Whimsy anymore because I just felt like it was redundant since it just sends you to Booksy. So it's just easier to just get rid of it and just use Booksy to promote my business. Hi, Molly Thrasher. Do you thrash? Thank you for your membership. Hi, Pamela Doss. Great to see you. Kitty Connell, thank you so much for your membership. Thank you for the donation, Anonymous. Deborah Murphy's in the house. Andrea Strawn is in the house. Good morning from Anchorage, Alaska. Wow, first time live. Great. Scorpio from Ohio, welcome. Uma Gray, you're in Berlin. Well, stay beautiful and safe. And it's a great town. Love Berlin. It's one of my favorite cities. Karen W. is in the house. Thank you for your membership. Goddess Val, thank you so much for your membership. And of course, stay safe in Florida. Do not try and take on Mother Nature. She's going to do what she needs to do to clean house. And she's coming. You just got to get out of the way. Deborah Murphy's in the house. Barb Young, thank you so much for your membership. Karen W., Gail St. John, hello. Scorpio 8763. I think we've already said hi to Karen, Barbara Smallwood, and Dara Stahn. Yes, I love this window background. So let's talk. What do you guys want to talk about? Debbie Brady is here to assist and help. She is a creative director. She is the person who helped design it. She's also the person that told me that this was the best background. Yeah, I think that it does add the illusion of more light. So yeah, I agree. I agree, Debbie. It is the best background. If you'd like to find out more about Debbie Brady, Future Shaper, she is a creative consultant and talent manager for YouTube, Facebook. She's also the creator of our fan pages over at Facebook. Much gratitude for all the hard work that Debbie puts in, a selfless dedication to her clients and fans, and much appreciated. Hi, Intuitive Kathy. Good to see you here. Hi, Sugar Baby's mama. Always good to see you. Alaska in the house. Hi, Andrea. Wow, good weather. You know, Alaska is beautiful, and you'll probably see if it gets warmer, more people trying to move to Alaska, which would be a shame because part of what's great about Alaska is there aren't a lot of people there. But man, is that an expensive state. Oh my goodness. I went on a vacation there. I could not believe the prices when we went to restaurants. It was crazy. Albania is in the house, having chicken patties made with chard. Oh, nice. Onions, peppers, feta, and dill over steamed kale. Wow. That sounds like a really, really nutrient-dense meal over in Albania. Yum, yum. I've never been to Albania, but it sounds really nice. Intuitive Kathy is having escarole and bean soup. You know, I figured out how to make mushy peas. Have y'all ever learned how to make mushy peas? You soak your beans in baking soda and it makes them cook really quickly. The next day you rinse. My God, those are good. I took some of those yellow peas, split peas, those Indian dal, and I soaked it, and it had some chickpeas in it, and it had regular peas in it. And then I rinsed it and cooked it up, and I made it really thick. So it was meaty, which is good if you need a lot of protein and you're not eating a lot of animal products. It was like killer. I was like, you know, you get a couple cups of that in you, and you're talking a lot of protein. So I had that with some quinoa, and I had sauteed mushrooms, onions with collard greens. Yeah. So that was, and the other thing I've been doing lately is I've been doing intermittent fasting because my cholesterol was way, I'm not going to tell you, it was way too high. So I can't believe that a person who eats the way I do has this kind of lab work. Well, of course I eat right, but then you know what I do after I eat right? I lay in bed and watch YouTube videos and I eat junk food. Yes, bring on the Doritos and the Coca-Cola and biscuits, tea biscuits, and popcorn. And that's what's causing my cholesterol to go through the roof. So the secret is that after dinner, no snacking. You know, you can have one day a week where you get to snack, but the longer you can go, you know, if your dinner, last night I ended my dinner at 5:30 and that was it. I was done after 5:30. And those beans, I ate a ton of beans, man. They stuck to my ribs. those mushy beans, mushy peas. It was thick. It was a lot drier than the kind you get in the can. So it was like meatier. I bet I could make some patties with that. I'm really going to start experimenting because I like something meaty and high in protein. But it kept me satisfied until I went to sleep at 10. So, and then the other thing I've started doing is drinking herbal teas, strong herbal teas with a little bit of green tea in it. Green tea will help with appetite suppression. But yeah, I gotta grow up. No more junk food for me. Yeah. All right. Well, would everybody like to have a collective reading? Yeah, well, triglycerides are carbohydrates, Angela. So the thing is to cut sugar and white and bread and corn and sugar from your diet, and start monitoring your not your total carbs, because you want to because the fiber is good for you, but we're talking about the sugars. And if you do that, you should see a drop in your triglycerides. It means that you're on the risk of fatty liver. Are we back? Looks like we've lost the connection. Let me just, we've been having some problems with our Wi-Fi. Okay, I'm on, so I lost my other Wi-Fi. All right, that's cool. Okay, I'm back on. So, yeah, if your triglycerides are elevated, then I know it's not what you want to hear, but don't eat after dinner, and time to let go of the carbohydrates. Yeah. Triglycerides are made by the liver. It means that your liver has too many carbs. Yeah, they're made, glycerides are converted to triglycerides. It's if you have too many glycerides, too much sugar, too much glycogen, it will convert to triglycerides. Yeah. Okay. So let me make sure this is good. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. We're having problems. They were here yesterday to correct the problem with the Comcast, but you're following Chef Sarno? Yeah, me too. I just became a fan of Jeff Sarno. Really sweet guy. I don't know if I approve of him feeding a vegan diet to his dog, but to each his own. I feel like the dog needs a little bit more omega-3s in his diet because he's always itching. You're down 75 pounds. Good for you. I'm a naturopathic doctor, so a lot of the time people ask me questions. Cheers, everyone. I find his recipes are actually pretty complicated, and you got to go buy a bunch of stuff. So you can always switch it out. Like if he says use pine nuts, you can use chopped walnuts or almonds or something else. Yeah, dogs. The Labradors are bred to be non-aggressive, and they tend to do better on a low-protein diet than other breeds. Yeah. Okay. Let's do the empath prayer and a collective reading. Would everybody like to have a reading? Also, if you would like to receive a healing at this time, please go ahead and give us your name or the name of somebody else you love, and we will include them in the reading. I don't have much remote views. To be honest with you, nobody really sent me anywhere, and I didn't put up a. I should have put up a note saying, "Where do you want to send me?" If you guys had sent, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know. Do I go back to Trump? I mean, I just felt as Trump cornered. I felt like I wasn't getting enough support from my attorneys. I was blaming my attorneys as Trump. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, the other thing is that I have talked about is I think that Israel and the IRGC, people inside the IRGC, are working together to topple the Iranian government. The head of Hezbollah was assassinated. Then they put in a new guy. He was assassinated. Then they put in a third guy, and he was assassinated today. And that's because the IRGC is working with Israel and saying, here he is. And then Israel's like, thanks. And it's like shooting fish in a barrel. And so the reason it's so easy for Israel to assassinate these people is because members of the IRGC are helping. So every time they elect a new member to Hamas or Hezbollah, within a very short amount of time, the IRGC can tell the Israelis where the person is. So you have the IRGC simultaneously fighting Israel and helping Israel at the same time. So it's rather crazy. So what I've said in my previous remotes is that both Russian and Iranian leadership will be toppled, that both are not long for this world, and that the least amount of deaths calculated was the 5 steps that we talked about, which was number 1, get to ceasefire, number 2, exchange of hostages, lure Hamas to a host country. They tried to do that, and Sinwar refused, and so they were not able to get the ceasefire and exchange of hostages and lure him to a host country. They tried several times, but they were not successful. And so, and then phase 4 is to dismantle Russian leadership and Putin to be basically arrested. If we can't get him tried in The Hague, then he'll probably go under house arrest. That was phase 4. This is the Western Alliance. And phase 5 is to dismantle Iranian leadership. And that was what it looked like as a remote viewer, was the calculation for least amount of deaths. If we don't want any more people to die, war is hell. What's happening in Gaza is hell. Taking out Hamas is hell. But things will be better for the people of Gaza when this nightmare is over, and when Israel and the international community can go and rebuild and reform. Maybe not in one generation, but in 2 or 3 generations, just as we saw in Japan. So that's my prediction. And I think it's very likely that they could go in and implement a similar policy in the West Bank. So in answer to the question of a 2-state solution, the Palestinians don't want a 2-state solution. They want to kill all the Jews, the majority that were asked, and have all of the Middle East be Islamic fundamentalist, which is why there are no Jews in Morocco, Yemen, Egypt, Syria, etc., Algeria, Tunisia, because this fundamentalist, the Islamic world has a hate problem, and they have a hatred of women problem, and these problems have to be dealt with, or the entire world is never going to do business with them. So we see reform happening in United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia. We're seeing major changes. But there's still a war on women, still a war on Jews, still Nazi philosophies being taught, like the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, as fact. Syria refuses to acknowledge that the Holocaust happened, same with Iran. So They have a hate problem. And as long as they have a hate problem and they're all dedicated to killing all the Jews and killing all the Christians and driving them out of Lebanon, you'll never see stability. Even when if the entire area were to become Islamic, you wouldn't have stability, because then you would have the Shia and the Sunni fighting, which is what was happening between Iran and Iraq, right? So the solution is dealing with the hate problem and tolerance. So we can predict that something like so that terrorist will be dismantled, not just in Gaza. It's systematic, but also in the West Bank, also, and that leadership will be dismantled, and it will be replaced by moderation. And people that talk about, oh, we have to be tolerant. No, we don't. We don't have to be tolerant of societies that make slaves of women. We don't have to be tolerant of hate crimes against women. If somebody wants to live an extremist lifestyle, that's fine, but not to inflict it on the rights of others. And so that is why United Arab Emirates is an experiment in tolerance, where you will see extremely religious people, but you also see people in blue jeans that are not religious. And that's democracy, not forcing your extremist beliefs and beating women into submission and putting a blanket over their heads. So, yeah, that is so, the extremist that we saw in Japan during World War II, where people were flying themselves into the craziness of kamikazes, right? So it took one or two generations. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll do the empath's prayer. And if you'd like to receive a healing at this time, please let us know who you are and we can include you in our prayers. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower us all on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively as a community, we say, Amen. And may those who are requesting healing today for yourselves and for your loved ones, we want to collectively send healing. May all souls be healed. May you receive a perfect healing. And together, collectively as a community, we say, Amen. Somebody had mentioned pain in the left side below the ribs. That's the sigmoid colon, usually. That's the sigmoid colon if you have pain in that area. And it could be diverticulitis or some other problem in the colon. Yeah, for the person who was asking about that. All right, sending healing to all. And now we're going to give you a collective reading. Yeah, I'm really, there's this false idea of tolerance. Oh, it's their culture. No, it's not their culture. Their culture implies that a person has a choice. The women of Afghanistan were not given a choice. The women of Saudi Arabia are not given a choice. The women of Hamas are not given a choice. The women of ISIS are not given a choice. Another woman was taken off life support a couple of days ago because when she was coming out of the grocery store in Tehran, the religious police saw some of her hair, and so she was beaten and raped, genitally assaulted. She went into a coma after being beaten and having her genitals assaulted, and then she was taken off life support. So please don't talk to me about choice. There's such a thing as suicidal empathy. That wasn't her choice. That's kind of like Donald Trump's argument about bringing it back to the states, a woman's right to choose. They didn't want that. The woman whose family is grieving that this woman who was just at a grocery store was having her brain crushed while her genitals are being assaulted, they didn't want that. So let's not pretend that they want this. The majority of the people in these countries are females, and they're undergoing horrific hate crimes because they're females. Throwing gay people off of buildings, they don't want that. The gay people of Iran don't want that. The LGBTQ community of Gaza, which is in hiding, don't want that. Yeah, so not to be Debbie Downer, but I'm a strong proponent of human rights. And it's ultimately, a person's right, how they want to dress, right? Who they want to love, right? Okay, we're not going back. Okay, all right, let's be love and light. Let's send love and healing to the whole world, that all of us be free to live our lives in a positive way that serves others without the fear of being oppressed. And may all souls be free, may all souls be happy. In a society that supports slavery, it's not a question of human rights or their right to choose, because they don't vote. It's not a democracy. You can only have people experience their rights if it's a true democracy, but these countries are not democracies. Right? Hello, Charlotte. All right. What is your message today? This reading is for you. This is your personal reading, and it is also a reading for the collective. If something in the reading doesn't apply to you, it's like a smorgasbord. It's part of the superconscious, the collective conscience, and just pass it on to the next person if it doesn't apply to you. So let's go. Let's do it. Feels so lonely without Joel. All right, where you are at right now. There is a major change happening with everybody. The world has changed. The world has changed. And it really is a case of not going back, not going back. Like Zahra from Tehran says, we as Iranian women were dead before we were born. Yeah, it wasn't what they wanted, right? So things have changed and the old ways are gone. And that could also be the old ways that we had faith in God. You may be a person that has tremendous faith in God. You may have a strong spirituality, but you may not be able to identify with what was previously considered being a spiritual person. So in plain words, you can be somebody who loves God very much, but you don't want to be in a burqa, right? You don't want to be in hijab. You don't want to be a second-class citizen. This idea of equating being a second-class citizen with being a more spiritual person, right? So where we are at right now is the Knight of Pentacles, which means that the old ways are gone. The old ways are gone and good riddance, because of this idea that human beings are evolving, and you and I are theoretically evolving towards perfection. Every day you should be happier than the day before. Every day you should know something, learn one thing every day, and then it's a good day because that was a day you learned something you didn't know the day before. And so you have evolved one step, just one step. Get an Encyclopedia Britannica, right? But this idea that every day we learn a little bit more and we do a little bit better and we keep evolving towards perfection, the process of creating heaven on earth. But the old ways are gone. The Knight of Pentacles is when things end. And the Karma card is the Hierophant, which is how we look towards God and spirit. It's our higher ethos. It's the religious or the spiritual ideas or the ethics that we hold on to. But the old ways are gone. If you used to be a doormat because maybe you felt like you were obligated, a lot of women grew up thinking that we were obligated to be doormats, right? That's over now, because the truth of the matter is living a spiritual life is that you become an actualized human being. You become the best expression of yourself. And that requires the freedom to learn, the freedom to go to school, which is being denied to women in Afghanistan right now, right? Anybody that holds you from your own evolution and your own development would be the antithesis of spirituality, right? So, but the old ways are gone. Knight of Pentacles cannot move forward. The old ways are gone because it wasn't workable, and your old life is no longer what it was because it wasn't good for you. For whatever reason, it needed to end because it wasn't good for you. And instead, you get to define for yourself what is best for you, what is best for your spirituality, what is what you think is valid because it's what you believe. If you're an atheist, so be it. If you're an agnostic, so be it. If you decide to go into Zoroastrianism, right, so be it. Ultimately, you are a free agent, and it's your body, it's your right, and it's your choice. It is your path to walk, and nobody else can walk that path for you. Your immediate environment is heartbreak. It's this feeling of being split into a million pieces. Sometimes this happens when we have to leave old relationships. Maybe we loved someone that tried to put us in a box. Maybe we tried to put them in a box. Maybe we were both in a box, right? These ideas that people have or expectations we had on ourselves. But Three of Swords is like being torn apart. It's interesting that Zara put in a broken heart, and that was the first card. So we are brokenhearted, right? This person's telling me who I should be. That person, I used to live in Israel and with a lot of ultra-Orthodox Jews telling me, this is who you are. You're supposed to be married and making babies, right? I don't think that's who I am, right? So we can be brokenhearted when others are trying to make us something that we are not. And then we have to also be willing to look at our own shadow. Did I do that to her, him, they? Did I try to put them in a box? The crossing card at this time is when you free yourself, everything becomes freer, including letting money flow to you. Let the money flow to you. When you limit yourself, when you limit your own potential, you limit yourself financially. When you're in a society that limits your rights as a woman, you're going to be screwed over financially because you don't have control over your own money. You can't get into the banking system. You can't run your own company. That would be an example, right? So, um, this idea of freeing yourself up, believing in your own potential, and seeing yourself as capable, and more money comes your way. I feel like the more money is going to be in the pockets of the middle class going forward. Page of Pentacles means that many of you are going to be getting new jobs or new economic opportunities. Many of you have a closed heart. It's not necessarily bad, Two of Swords. I see it as a neutral card, really. It stands in your fourth house. And I'll tell you why I think it's a neutral card. There comes a time when we sometimes have to just hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, and just focus on our own development. So you can see your first card was the Three of Swords. Your crossing card is new financial opportunities. That's Archangel Gabriel. It's also receiving ideas from Gabriel in terms of the arts, like writing, etc. And what is above you is Two of Swords, which is, if you're suffering from any kind of attention deficit disorder or procrastination and distraction, the Two of Swords is about not having distractions. And sometimes we have to tune things out. Not everyone's going to get us. Not everybody is going to want to dance in our parade. What you sit under is huge potential. You can see the High Priestess, which is the hidden knowledge, and it's what you sit in, it's what you marinate in. There is inside of all of us, I had joked, a diva waiting to be born. A little diva, a little goddess, a little god, a little master, a little magician, right? So the high priestess is, I'm trying to hold it up so you can see it. The high priestess is about this idea of the hidden gems or the hidden world being revealed to you, because once you no longer limit your own capabilities and you start listening to your inner voice. I've been having the strangest dreams, and every night it's another famous person who's hanging out. Every night a different famous. Last night I was hanging out with Jerry Seinfeld and the actress from Curb Your Enthusiasm, who yells a lot. For some bizarre reason, they both showed up and they started hanging out with me. The night before that, I was hanging out with Melania and Donald Trump. And then before that, it was Brad and Jen and Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston and Brad. I have no idea what these archetypes or what it means, but it's every damn night it's a different celebrity. Your past placement is frugality and pulling back. And, a lot of us benefited from COVID, this idea of pulling back, being more frugal, reserve your energy, tune out others. I got to stop. I'm addicted to YouTube. YouTube is keeping me from writing the book. I'm sorry, Debbie. Debbie's always write the book. I know, Debbie, but it's YouTube, right? So be aware that you've got this Four of Pentacles energy. Four of Pentacles is a great card in the sense that it's a frugality card, but it also has to do with pulling back and examining yourself. If you wish to end the suffering of old age, sickness, and death, you must first understand the nature of your own existence, right? So it's interesting that your karma card is such spirituality and finding the hidden knowledge in your deep subconscious. tuning out other things of the world and pulling back a little bit from the world and being frugal, but you've got new money coming into your future, which is nice. And entering into the time of the King of Pentacles, interesting, which means wisdom over your finances. The Banker's card, it's the Taurus energy. I just bought electric shoes. I can't afford them. I'm on a payment plan. I can walk at 7 miles an hour now with electric shoes. I haven't gotten them yet, but I'm very excited. This way, if I get chased by some crazy person in downtown Portland, I can just walk away. You can't chase me. I'm going 7 miles an hour, right? So you go 2-3 times as fast, and so you can get across town in no time. Isn't that great? They cost about $1,000, but you can be on a monthly payment plan of $79 a month. I did that, and then if I pay it off early, I can pay it off early. Then I won't have to pay the interest. But yeah, I figure it will be good. It's a good investment because it's heart health, and I'm a little nervous about people chasing me and stuff because it is downtown. I get a little bit agoraphobic. So I figure, okay, now I've got no excuses because I can run at like 15 miles an hour. No one's going to be able to catch up with me, right? Where you're at right now, the 10 of Cups, the book is opening up to you. The world is opening up to you, 10 of Cups. And your obstacle is letting other things around you drag you down. 5 of Pentacles can be covered. You worry too much about other people, which is good. I can't even hear about people abusing animals. There was a story in People magazine that popped up about horrible animal abuse. I can't. It's hard for me to come to terms with the fact that we live in a world where this type of atrocities take place, right? So we're loving, compassionate people, and we want loving, compassionate things for others. And so it's really hard. Oh, wear a helmet? It's not skates. It's just walking. So you don't really fall. I do have a helmet for my skates. Unless the psychopaths have electric shoes, I'm coming after you. I don't think they do, but I'm just going to feel safer with my electric shoes because then I can go into, like they have some of these areas under bridges and things. I just get scared and I want to be free. As a woman, I want to be free. I'm tired of being scared all the time. I want to get out and see the world. And I'm thinking if I bring electric shoes and then I'm going to be free, right? So we all go through these fears, right? 5 of Pentacles is your antagonism or your conflict in the 8th house. Your 7th house is creating a beautiful home for yourself. Your opposition is poverty and people or relationships that could be dragging you down. It's about being locked out of the church. So it's interesting that the collective reading is about how can you get back into the church through your internal belief systems, hopes and fears, agoraphobia, or hiding from the world. I'm definitely doing that. Like I am going out after this reading and I'm going to go down to the water, down to the old main drag. I can't wait until I get my electric shoes. Then I'll really be able to zip around there. But yeah, they're called moonwalkers if you guys want to get them. It's my Hanukkah present to myself 2 months early or whatever. But so 9 of Wands is about being afraid of the outside world a little bit. And then the final outcome is know what you have and not focus so much on what you've lost. Be able to be grateful for that which you have and not focus so much on that which you've lost. Don't limit yourself, and keep your life as simple as possible so that you can begin to focus your time and energy on the things that give you joy. Um, you're growing. The sun comes out. You will have what you want so long as you remain focused and diligent in your work. And that is your reading. That is your reading. I hope it gave you some comfort. I don't think you have to wear a helmet because it's you're just walking normally, but it elongates your step in some weird technical way. So your step is twice its length. So if you normally walk at 2 to 3 miles an hour, you'll be walking at 4 to 6 miles per hour. I got the new generation. The old generation is 5 pounds, which who wants to be dragging around a 5 pound weight? So these are lighter. Yeah. All right. Whenever you guys are ready, we will blitz. Oh, hi, Tony. Good to see you. We will blitz, blitz, blitz away. If you feel like you need to see me again, you can book me through Booksy if you feel like you need more clarification and you want to talk to me directly. But yeah, so we're going to do some blitzes as soon as I get the order. We will blitz, blitz, blitz away. Let's see what we got going on here. Well, we've talked about our charity. It's the World Central Kitchen. Yeah, it's just a storm relief, hurricane help. All right, so Marion Coates, she says she's been getting some really disturbing stuff about Milton. I have not looked at the news on Milton, but let's take a look. Evidently, Trump is making money off of the storm. That's pretty disturbing. Hurricane Milton. What's going to be with Hurricane Milton? It's a wonderful opportunity for people to help one another, and it's can be seen as an opportunity for growth for us as human beings to begin to show one another more compassion. See it as an opportunity for more compassion. So we have the Eight of Wands, which means that it's rapid and it's this rapid aggressive energy. And we also have Seven of Pentacles coming in. So in a way, it gets everybody on the same page that global warming is real. The other guy's a charlatan. What do we need to do to fix it? How do we get we know how to get the carbon levels down. We've got to get the acid levels down in the ocean. There's way too much CO2 in the ocean. There's a lot of pseudoscience out there. There's a lot of pseudoscience out there. Oh, normal trends. No, the ocean is not supposed to have this much acid in it. Well, it's happened before. Yes, in the early formation of the earth, before life existed, there were lower oxygen levels. But the CO2, the acid in the ocean, is accelerated because of the fossil fuels we're burning. That's hard science. So how do we cool things? We have to remove the acid. And we do that by removing the carbon, and then it's stored in the earth, and then it's converted back into carbon rock. So we just have to be proactive about this. We just have to do it. But an opportunity for growth. Things are happening very, very quickly. The new industry is the new green economy. Hopes and fears, our own foolish behavior, and 2 of Pentacles. So you can be sure if the Republican businessman thinks that he can make a buck off of it, he'll be all in on global warming. But if you're making your money off of oil, you're going to do everything in your power to suppress the data. Scholars and intellectuals come in, and you can see that here again. Scholarships and intellectuals coming in, and judgment sound. And this is my card for the green economy, investing in green technology. Hopes and fears that people are confused. The main problem I get when I go in as a remote viewer is I see that the land is saturated, and specifically south, uh, the west. I'm actually getting that it's west of Tampa where we're seeing a lot of saturation. So if I were to go onto a map, I can tell you as a remote viewer where I see saturation happening. And I'm concerned about the saturation. So that means damage to those areas. So this area here seems saturated to me. I don't have a lot of tolerance here, here, this area. I feel like it can't take much more water. Even if this area got hit, that's not, I feel like this area is below sea level here. I feel like this area, saturation. But this is the main area. Saturation, saturation. It's below sea level, and I feel like all the water is accumulating in this area as a remote viewer. This area feels higher up, and so it drains. And it drains down into wadis in this area. This is where I see the accumulation of the water. And it makes me feel like this area is going to be losing land just because of where it's situated. I'm not feeling too good about this area either. I'm feeling like I'm losing land here. This whole area from Pensacola down to Panama City. But over here, what is this? Panacea, Steinhatchee, Big Bend Aquatic Preserve. This area feels very vulnerable to me as a remote viewer. I feel like it's going to be hard to save that area. It just feels like everything runs off down here from these higher areas. Through these waterways. Yeah, I get a real hit over here in terms of flooding. This whole area can get soaked, but again, over here, I'm feeling vulnerable. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else is going on. Any other questions people have today? Hi, Appalachia. Thank you, everyone who's been donating. Much appreciated. Okay. Oh, got lots of donations. Lovely. Thank you, everyone. Nice. Yeah, we miss Joel. It's just not the same without Joel. I think we did do a link to Paradise Herbs. iHerbs, Geo Cosmic Valentine did a link. Thank you. And all right, so we're going to go ahead and we'll take a look at just Florida as a whole and whether or not the politics in Florida. You know, Texas is a really independent state, and that's why I really feel like that independence. I don't know where Milton is. Let me look. Uh, Milton, Florida. Milton. Okay. Yes, Milton is vulnerable based on this remote. Yes, I'm sorry. Milton is vulnerable. You're going to get a lot of rain. It might not be a direct hit, but you'll get a lot of rain. Okay, so we'll just check Florida first. Okay, so we're going to just check to see if the election is going to be affected. If they're telling you to evacuate Milton, you should evacuate Milton. It's not quite as close to the floodplain, but it's close. How will politics be affected in Florida? Seven of Wands, defending the land. So waters are rising. There's real terror and fear. I feel terror and fear in Florida, like they can't control this. It came out of nowhere. Politicians are lying to them. Their opposition is stable. Two of Wands. The hope and the fear, the King of Swords, is Trump, and the final outcome is victory in the next 6 months. Over the issue, a star is over Florida. There's confusion over the opposition. Wheel of Fortune. I just think going back to the old ways, Six of Wands, we could be seeing a shift towards the left in politics in Florida. And I think that it's because of the hurricanes. All right. Will it cause major events on the East Coast? Will it cause major events on the East Coast? Seeing a lot of aid, and I'm concerned about Georgia. I'm concerned about Georgia, South Carolina. I'm concerned about Florida, and I'm concerned about the floodplain in Northwest Florida and parts of Alabama. Yes, I think the Southeast and parts of Northwest Florida could be hit pretty hard. I'm concerned. Yes. The objective truth. People live in a fantasy. They want to be told pretty stories so they can continue to do what they want to do. But objective reality is smashing them in the face repeatedly, going back to the old ways, taking the weapons of war away from the enemies. Things had been bogged down. We need more executive orders to go in to take care of gridlock. And Page of Swords is coming, which is the sword of truth. So people have to be told the truth, and they have to be comfortable with the truth. All right, this question is coming about the stranglehold that Opus Dei has, where they've literally taken control of the Supreme Court through the Heritage Foundation, and whether or not we will see some control of these religious extremists and what they're doing politically to the United States. It's ironic because Biden is a devout Catholic, so it's almost like a civil war within the Catholic community. And so is Sotomayor. I believe Sotomayor's Catholic. The judgeship. There's fighting. A decision must be made. Roberts is also Catholic, yeah. It's their heritage, right? The Heritage Foundation. A lot of it is seen as a problem that's caused by Heritage Fund because Roberts got what he wanted. So in a way, Roberts supports it. It's the wish of Roberts, but a lot of infighting. He feels very confident and secure with his control of the courts. Regarding the judgment, the masters come in to take control, and the foundation of the Heritage Fund. So there's more exposure, but it's very difficult because it almost looks like Roberts has a real stranglehold on the courts. They're outspending us in Pennsylvania when it comes to the Senate. Republicans are. But let me look at the future of the Supreme Court. High Priestess, we're seeing more people coming in, probably women, a judgment, hopes and fears, temperance. And then the final outcome, Ace of Pentacles, money. I'm seeing women coming in. I'm also seeing a shift of Amy Coney Barrett to the left. She's starting to move away from the men, more towards the left. This is traditionally her card, and I'm seeing another strong woman. She could be starting to go more towards the women, and so it's the women versus the men. We also see changes in the court here with the Knight of Pentacles and a thief. Something about a thief coming in, and Two of Swords, some kind of investigation coming in. So the final outcome is more people coming into the courts and a change of the courts. And so we could see 2 to 3 new justices in the next 3 to 4 years. That's interesting. I think Sotomayor and Thomas are both stepping down, but we could see Alito and Kavanaugh also stepping down. Interesting. Thank you, Tony, for that donation. Yeah, so the hurricane's going to be hard. The land is already saturated. And Florida over the next coming months is moving towards the left. So it does have an effect. People begin to go left because global warming is real, and people begin to accept the fact that something like 70% are now of Americans now accept a global warming. Rich is Catholic, and he says he's appalled by the court. Sure, because not all Catholics agree with what the courts are doing. This is a sect of Catholicism. So you're seeing civil war. And what's interesting is to see the changes in Amy Coney Barrett as she becomes more and more to the left. And she could completely break away in the coming months. Yeah. She's with a sect which is very it's like it's evangelical, it's charismatic Catholic, speaking in tongues, receiving the Holy Spirit, laying on of hands. If I were Catholic, I'd probably be charismatic because I love the whole idea of it's trance. I like the idea of going into trances and listening to the mantras and doing the liturgy and doing the rosary, and this idea of charismatic healers that could levitate, like Saint Teresa of Avila. Uh, this is really attractive to me. And I find when I study Catholicism, I'm attracted to the Carmelites and to these profoundly beautiful writings of Saint John of the Cross. So I can see the appeal, um, and the compassion in that branch of Catholicism, whereas Opus Dei is just about beating yourself, and I don't know, it seems kind of creepy. Uh, Whereas Teresa of Avila, she was awesome. She was levitating, pull me down, sisters. She would go into these ecstatic states and she would start floating, and they would have to literally pull her down from her levitations. And she wrote about the mystical branches. It's Kabbalistic, really. So yeah, it's some cool stuff. So I actually, I can see the appeal, actually. Um, all right. So somebody had asked if I could look at President Biden. They were concerned about his health. He has been aging rather quickly. He did show up at the press conference a couple of days ago. People have been critical of the fact that he didn't resign, that he should have resigned outright rather than staying in power until the very end. It would have been better for him to have resigned, given the presidency to Harris. And if he had done that, it would have been a lot easier for her. And people would have had less of a feeling that it was hijacked. I will leave it to you guys to decide if he should have resigned outright, or if he did the right thing from staying till the very end. But let's go ahead and let's take a look at his health and if he's going to step down early. Hildegard von Bingen, there's another charismatic. Yeah, charismatic. It was led by the women, and these were powerful divas, right? These were powerful, educated women who defied the church, right? Teresa of Avila, the Inquisition came to kill her, right? Hildegard von Bingen, the same thing. She was playing loud music and being a really bad neighbor so that the church could tell her she could move. She wanted to go live in the forest and build her own retreat. So I kind of, Amy Coney Barrett, don't give up on her. She's sliding, she's doing the electric slide. That's what people are saying about Amy Coney Barrett. She's doing electric slide. sliding to the left. Um, and you see the facial expressions on Amy Coney Barrett when she talks to Thomas, and she looks genuinely repulsed. Like, those ladies are doing their own thing. They're doing their own miracles. They're doing their own spiritual stuff. These powerful spiritual women, and they're not necessarily fans of the male-dominated Catholic Church. In fact, they were often in opposition to the male-dominated church. She's, there was an article in the New York Times, what the hell is going on with Amy Coney Barrett? Because she keeps arguing with the men, and they're starting to, she's uppity. They're complaining that she's uppity. She's not doing what they tell her to do when they tell her to do it, right? So they thought that they could just tell her what to do. She's become her own independent woman, and she's the most left of all of the extremists so far. She's the one that is starting to go most to the left, and so that's good. All right, how is President Biden doing? Seven of Wands. He's in the middle of, he's trying to keep World War III from happening. So Seven of Wands is this need to defend your position, defend the land. His opposition is Trump. So he's genuinely doing what he can to deal with that. Over the next 3 months, the ship's coming in. So that can be making sure that trade is good. Fighting. He sees fighting ahead. So I'm concerned about civil unrest, protest, this sort of thing. I see him traveling. He's going to be doing some traveling, possibly to deal with the hurricanes and also to deal with challenges in the border. They say that Donald Trump is finished. However, J.D. Vance is here. So they could be having an intent to have Trump step down and then to bring in J.D. Vance. This is J.D. Vance's card. And it's finished. Trump is finished, and they're trying to push for J.D. Vance. 10 of Cups is the outcome for Biden, which is a good sign. It means the happy home and the happy family. And that's quite auspicious for him. It is not auspicious for Trump. I'll do one more clarification. Ace of Cups also, which would be a very good omen. Very compassionate man. The courts, the police are going after Trump, and he's finished. They don't care about the election. Judge Chutkan doesn't care about the election. They're going after him and charging him now. This is why he's angry. This is why I felt as him, where's my Roy Cohn, blaming his people. The Queen of Swords is coming. I don't know what that is about. The final outcome is Page of Pentacles, a new job. He has a new job. He's becoming a statesman. Hi, Terry. Good to see you. Yeah, so we see this change happening in Barrett between what she was and what she will be. So she goes from what they thought would be this easy vote for, and she changes. Yeah. Yeah. So Barrett has some challenges. So it'll be interesting to see this change that begins to happen to her. Yeah, so that was the controversy, was that she did not become the president, and so a lot of people had a feeling that it was wrong, or they had a problem that she was made the nominee with, but it, you know, that it was sketchy, that he should have stepped down. A lot of people felt like it would have been better if he had stepped down. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you're trying to get in for a reading, check the information below. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless, peace out, and we'll see you next time.